What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Let's try that again. Good evening, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, and welcome to the Awakening World. This will be a very, very important show. You know, we've done over 500 shows since Deborah Giusti and I started Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe way back in the first week of April 2020. And we've done a lot of topics, but we've never done this topic. And Deborah reached out to me and said, we've got to do something on artificial intelligence. Everybody's talking about it. We want to know about the ethics of it. You know, is it safe? Is it wonderful? Is it going to transform our world? Is it going to end our world? And so I said, you're right. We've got to do something about it. So Deborah has put together an incredible panel. She's going to come on in a moment and introduce the topic a little bit more thoroughly and introduce all of our wonderful presenters. But I want to acknowledge that most of you are watching us on Facebook right now. Or maybe you're watching us on the Conscious Awakening Network or on YouTube or on Humanities Team or one of our other broadcast partners. However you're watching us, welcome. We love that you're here. And we want to invite you to come and join the Global Peace Tribe. And the advantage to that is you get the Zoom rooms and you can come right in, and we are going to have a powerful panel discussion. So you'll be able to ask your questions in the Zoom chat box and connect with us. So what you're going to do, hopefully, is go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and that's where you're going to learn all about us and all that we do. We do a lot of different shows, and then click register for the new season. And when you click that, it's going to take you to our registration page. We do 2 or 3 shows every week, always Wednesday night and Saturday night. We also are now doing a meditation 7 nights a week. This is the show we just did a couple of nights ago, all about the art of change. And here's the show that you're about to watch tonight. And so you join, you're going to get the Zoom room links for the next 3 months. You also are going to get on our email list, which means that every Monday, you'll get an email that has all the recordings from our shows. So come join the Global Peace Tribe. We are an amazing group of people from all over the world who are all about awakening and consciousness. And certainly the queen of awakening and consciousness is Deborah Giusti, a dear friend. We've known each other for over 30 years. And she is the person who had the inspiration for this show. So take it away, Deborah, and tell us what you got planned.
Thank you, Scott. And it's so great to be back again. And I appreciate you so much, Scott, for continuing on in such a wonderful way with the awakening world. And I'm so happy to be here. And hello to everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces out there. And yeah, this is going to be an amazing show. AI, ethics, discernment, and spiritual alignment in an awakening world. And so for anyone that knows me, you know I love sitting on the new paradigm on the very edge and see what's coming forward. And I like to understand what's being birthed, what's shifting, and how it can support the evolution of our world and our personal evolution, our ascension. And AI is definitely one of those new paradigm topics that has my focused attention. You can see AI everywhere in the media, in our society. It's now infiltrating in all parts of our lives. And there's huge conversations happening now about it becoming the ultimate game changer and how it can alter how we live, our career, our businesses, and how we interact with each other. And the changes are coming faster and faster. So there's a lot of conversation out there of how it will support our lives, allowing us to achieve so much more, help us with healthcare, education, and the arts. But then there's the conversation of how it can potentially compromise our society and the danger of AI becoming vastly more intelligent than humanity, becoming sentient, which means becoming conscious and acting independently on its own. So if you listen to YouTube like I have, there's huge conversations on it with many of the experts that have been involved for many, many years and knew this was all coming. And there's pros and cons. You can get really confused. But what I don't hear them talking about very much is the topic of ethical AI, or how we can create this opportunity forward to be really positive and supportive of our lives and society, and how AI aligns with our spiritual evolution. So that's what's most important to me, and I would assume you're deeply interested in that as well. And I do really want to continue to develop technology. Technology like we're on right now is what has allowed me to manifest everything I have. But I want to make sure that I am staying on what I call the organic ascension timeline. I don't want to utilize AI to augment my evolutionary development. You may have heard of the transhumanism agenda. So there's a fine line there of decisions and discernments that we can make. I want to organically evolve and develop my superpowers instead of putting a chip in my brain to create superpowers. But I honor everyone's perspective and personal choice. And some of the experts that we have on tonight, I am just so excited about because they've really delved into these topics of ethical AI and what can be seen as we gone forward. So like Scott said, I wanted to put together this show to share it with you and even learn more myself. And so what we're going to do very special for this show tonight, as well as having everyone give a presentation, a download about what their topic is, we're going to have a roundtable discussion because there's so many different aspects to it. And we're going to be able to take some of your questions too. So when we get to that point, you're welcome to put that in the chat room or the question and answer place. But I want to introduce the speakers here tonight. So I'm really happy to have with us Jonathan Robinson. He's a best-selling author of 14 books. He's a professional who's reached over 200 million people around the world with his practical methods. And he's been on Oprah, and he's the one that sort of inspired me to do this show. And I'll say more about that later. So welcome, Jonathan.
My pleasure.
And I'm so happy to have Matthew James Bailey. He's the founder of AI Ethics World. He provides leadership training for artificial intelligence and new inventions for ethical AI. He is at the pioneering edge of universal consciousness, new technologies, and global systems change. Thank you so much for being with us, Matthew.
Great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. Hello, everybody. Hello.
And we have Adam Hall. He's the developer of Soul Guide. This is a GPT-powered application that puts you in touch with your own circle of spiritual masters. Welcome, Adam.
Welcome. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Great. And we have Timothy Noah, who's a partner of Adam on this project. He's also a teacher, and he's a developer of digital strategy, and he works with Humanities team. He's also co-producer of the Global Oneness Summit, if you know of that, which is an amazing summit that happens every year. Welcome, Timothy.
Thank you for having me, Deborah. Nice to be here.
And we have Ishmael Perez, amazing. He's a cosmic ambassador that is here to share important information for this evolutionary times. He is best known for his best-selling book, Our Cosmic Origin, where he reveals the true galactic and stellar origin of humanity. Welcome, Ishmael.
Thank you, Deborah, for having me here. It's quite an honor and a blessing. And I just want to give the Soul Tribe a big shout out. Thank you guys for being here as well.
And we have some of our favorite Saturday Night Alive and Awakening a World musicians, the Mystiques, Fanny and Vigari, that share heartful music of the universe. Welcome, Fanny and Vigari.
Thank you very much. We're honored to be here.
You know, once again, Deborah, you've put together an amazing group of people. And I want to remind our audience that we've started something really new that's cool. There's going to be the AI show, which will last about 2 hours. And then we are going to have another KES, Christic Energy System Healing. And today, coming from all the way from Iceland, we have Pia Avia as our KES 3 Master Healer. And so after you get all this information about AI, she's going to take you on a beautiful experience into our bodies. And then Fanny and Vigari, the Mystiques, will close us out with some incredible, exquisite music. So we've got a really beautiful evening planned for you. And roll it right along. I'm going to go right back to Deborah.
Yeah, so we're going to start with dear friend who's been on the show several times, Jonathan Robinson. And this show kind of started because I saw Jonathan post that he's a prominent author, has written many books, very famous for that he went to his publisher and they didn't need him anymore because AI was going to write the book, being Jonathan Robinson. So I called Jonathan and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? And Jonathan, being the way he is, he studies so many vast topics on so levels, shared with me he'd been studying AI and was really on the forefront of what was coming down. And then I said, well, we should probably do a show on this. Would you join me? And he was a big yes. So I appreciate that. So he's going to help give the overview. Again, he's an author of 14 books, a professional speaker, been on Oprah, and he's just got a way of studying everything and distilling it down to something practical that you can use. So thank you, Jonathan, for being with us. And Scott, did you want to share anything else?
I'll just say Jonathan's one of my best friends. He has an amazing ability to convey very deep information with a lot of love and a lot of fun and a lot of play. So I am eager to hear your overview about AI, Jonathan.
Well, good. Let's get started. I'm going to try and give a big overview in a few minutes of a lot of things that you may not know, even though you hear about AI in the news. It might be helpful to think of AI as being like an alien species that has just started to be born on planet Earth. And we don't know what's going to happen with this species. Everybody has a different perspective. People have different opinions. It's great, it's terrible. But let me tell you a little bit about what's happening and what's likely to happen and how it might be able to affect our evolution. But first, you have to get an idea of like where we're at in this AI revolution. And it's very hard to understand this thing called exponential change. You know, we understand linear change, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's very hard to understand when computers go from in 1970, where, you now have in your pocket the same computing power that NASA had sending somebody to the moon. So here's a little test for you. Imagine that you're at the top seat of the biggest football stadium you've ever seen, way up in the bleachers, the nosebleed section. And somebody puts 1 drop of water on the 50-yard line. You can't even see them probably. But a minute later, they put another drop. And a minute later, they put 4 drops. And a minute later, 8 drops. And a minute later, 16 drops. My question to you is, how long would it take before that person in the nosebleed section of that stadium is virtually underwater? Well, when you ask people this question, the average answer is about 2 weeks. But the real answer is 43 minutes, because exponential change grows very rapidly and AI is going to grow very rapidly. But what's most interesting about this is at 30 minutes into this exponential change of water being on the field, the person on the nosebleed section might not notice that there's any water on the field, meaning they might not know that anything's going on. And then 13 minutes later, they are inundated by over 1 million Olympic-sized swimming pools of water. Well, we are at about 30 minutes now into the AI experience. So we might think, oh, ChatGPT, that was interesting 6 months ago. ChatGPT-4, that's even better. Well, the exponential curve goes this way up. And in 5 years, we are going to be living in a completely different world. And we don't know whether it'll be 3 years or 10 years, but we will no longer be the most intelligent species on this planet. Some people think that's a good thing because we haven't done that good a job. And some people think that might be a bad thing because AI might take over and who knows what they'll do with humanity. But it's good to explore the different aspects of this. How can we steer AI maybe into helping us be more ethical mammals? How can it help us with intractable problems like global warming or disease or pandemics? How can it help us with consciousness? Well, many years ago, about 5 years ago, I did a talk at Google about the future of happiness. And afterwards, I met with some Google executives and I said, so what's your plan? You know, you have all this computing power. What's the future going to be like? And they said, in about 10 years, we plan to have perfect search, meaning anything you want, you ask for it, Google or an AI will supply it to you. If you ask for inner peace, it will say, give you, based on your metrics, exactly what you need to know in that moment to find more peace. If you're looking to make more money, the AI coach will tell you exactly what you personally need to find and create more money. That's perfect search. We're not there yet, but you can see just in the last few months that a lot has happened and a lot will be happening. When you think of it as a new species that gets at least 4 times as smart every single year, you do that a few times, you're dealing with a completely unknown experience. And that scares a lot of people. But what I want to talk to you about is the ability for these things to actually enhance our evolution. So a few years ago, I wanted a machine that trains brain waves. And you could do neurofeedback so you can enter into blissful states of consciousness rather easily. Well, 5 years ago, this machine cost $80,000. I just got it today in UPS. It cost $900. When it's $100 and you can train your brain waves with AI to experience transcendent states of consciousness, that's a new world. What will we do with it? We'll see. But these amazing abilities become available to us. As Deborah mentioned, I don't have to write books now because AI will do it for me. Now, that kind of put me out of a job, so I'm now doing new jobs. But we all feel this sense like something's happening and it is going to accelerate. And in that acceleration, we have to think, what is the world we want to create? How can we use AI not to automate war, not to lose ourselves in gadgets, but how to experience more peace, more love, more joy. You know, 300 Facebook friends does not equal one really good friend. And if you use it in the wrong way, these gadgets that are all around us now and will become even better can keep us from our humanity if we're not careful. I like to have people ask themselves a few questions whenever they use AI. And when I say use AI, we're talking about things like Facebook, Netflix, all these things that give recommendations that control our attention. They're all AI driven. And if we learn to use it well, we're going to evolve very quickly. If we don't learn to use them well, you're going to see what's happened in the last few years, which is depression is getting bigger, isolation is getting much more common, and we can lose our humanity to these AI machines. So it's very important that we understand what's going on. We understand what the risks are, but also what the potential benefits are. So a couple of the potential benefits that I've seen is, stuff like Zoom, that we can talk to each other. We may be able to cure cancer soon by AI. We may be able to have self-driving cars to change our brainwaves in ways we want. And soon we'll all have what's called an AI coach. We already have a coach when we're driving. It's called GPS, turn right, turn left. And we submit to that coach. Well, do you want to do that in your relationships where the AI tells you should buy flowers for your wife? Do you want to do that in relationship to your health? Well, the AI says, if you do this, you're going to live 7 years longer. So these are all considerations that we've never had to consider before, but they all become open as AI advances. And we want to know what we can do to better our lives and what we might want to avoid that AI is sucking us into in a way that loses our humanity. We have some great speakers for that. I just want to end with a quick story, or maybe a practical thing. These are questions I ask myself to know whether I want to engage with a certain technology. One is, does this technology bring me closer to people or isolate me? Does this technology add to my inner peace or make me feel more stressed? Does this technology add depth and joy to my life or move me towards superficiality? Does this technology make me more compassionate? Does this improve my health or negatively impact my health? Does this make me a wiser person? Well, those are good things to ask yourself as we engage with this new species that is going to be developing very quickly. But in closing, I asked AI, ChatGPT, what we should consider might be the dangers of AI and how we can avoid them. And ChatGPT is very smart already. It's going to be 4 times as smart in about 6 months. But it said, well, you need to develop a strong emphasis on ethical considerations. You need to align AI with human values and goals. You need to make it transparent and understandable. You need to implement mechanisms for human control. You need to make it robust so it is not attacked by adversarial systems. You need government regulation. You need assessment of potential risks and unintended consequences. It went on and on. So AI can actually help us know how not to take over humanity in a way that is detrimental to us. So it's a whole new world. It's a world where no one knows where it's really going to go. But as we get different perspectives, as we'll have tonight, you're going to at least know a little bit more what's going on and not be surprised when maybe your job is outsourced to AI, or maybe when you see AI take over more and more of your decisions. And we get into a conscious discussion of how we can use this new technology to improve ourselves, improve our lives, and hopefully make a better world. So that's a little bit of introduction and overview. Deborah or Scott, back to you.
Well, first of all, thank you, Jonathan. That was really, really clear. And when you were talking about one good friend, you're who I thought of. So I appreciate that part of you. And, Jonathan, as long as I've known him, and I've known him for many years, has always been Jonathan, the best-selling author and sometime coach. But now that AI is writing the books, Jonathan's got something new that he's doing. And I do want to give you a chance. I put it in the chat box, but for all of you watching on Facebook, Jonathan, tell us about your other career and what you're offering.
Yeah, just real quickly, 40 years ago, I got my master's thesis on how to use the drug MDMA, also known as ecstasy, for treating people with trauma, depression, anxiety. I'm going to be doing a webinar this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. It's free. I'm going to talk about really this breakthrough therapy. We've never had a therapy so effective where you can cure people of PTSD they've had for 40 years in one day, or you can cure people of anxiety in one day. And the webinar is free. You can use that link. You get a a link to the talk, and you'll learn about this breakthrough therapy. By the way, in 2024, the FDA has already stated they plan to legalize MDMA for the treatment of PTSD and other conditions. So we're in a changing world. That's never happened before, where a Schedule I drug is now made legal because the results were so good. So I hope you join me for that lecture, and I'll talk a lot about what that can do for you.
That's like a whole nother show. We're going to have to do a show on that, Daniel. Again, you can get the link. It's in the chat box. For those of you watching on Facebook, go to dandelion.events/E/U5KOQ. But really the best thing to do is come join the Global Peace Tribe. And that
Or
way,
people, the other thing, Scott, is people can go to mdmatraining.net and learn a lot about it.
okay, mdmatraining.net, mdmatraining.net. All right. We are going to be back with Jonathan. He's going to be moderating our panel conversation after we've heard a little bit from all of our presenters. Thank you very much, Jonathan. And I'm going to turn it back over to Deborah for our next introduction.
Great. And that was great, Jonathan. Thanks for setting the field there for us to move forward. And I'm so happy to present this next speaker. I met Matthew James Bailey at Contact in the Desert, which is the top UFO show, but they were doing a lot on artificial intelligence. And Matthew was talking about ethical AI. No one else was really talking about it. And he is so passionate and so clear and so experienced. He's been doing this a very long time. And what I loved about him too is he held very strongly the connection with the divine as how he moves in the world and how he evolves everything forward. So speaking my language, I went to every talk he had. So he saw me a lot and then invited him to be on our show and be with us because I think he has a really important message. He's the author of the playbook, Ethical AI, Inventing World 3.0. He's also the founder of AI Ethics World, which provides leadership training for artificial intelligence and new inventions for AI. He's the founder of World 3.0 Global Movement. He's up to a lot of different things, and he's going to give us a really potent, brief download of a little bit of what he's up to. But if you want to find him, we'll give you the link where you can sign up for his newsletter after his presentation. So thank you, Matthew, for joining us and sharing us your perspective of what you see happening in the world with ethical AI.
Yeah, thank you, Deborah. And I'm going to share some slides with people. I'll go through them fairly quickly, but you'll be able to look at the slides at your pleasure afterwards. Thanks for being here. Let me just share some slides with folks because this will be really quite useful. So inventingworld3.com, you can find a lot there, and we'll be speaking about that as we go along. So as part of my third stage of global leadership after the Internet of Things and smart cities, when you want to change the world, you write a thesis, a book. And so I wrote the thesis for a new world vision in the age of artificial intelligence with strategies, inventions, solutions, and use cases. There's a lot of talk at the moment. What we need is inventions and solutions. Once you've written a thesis, then you have to roll up your sleeves and get involved in the physical dimension. So we have aiethics.world, which is a business with tools and methodologies and educational services for government and organizations to leap forward into the age of ethical AI. NASA, the #1 research institute in the world, have experimented with these inventions, and you can read the report on inventingworld3.com or aiethics.world. And this is about aligning the authentic ethical AI computing continuum with the physical continuum, i.e. material world. The stage 3, which is what I went public at Contact in the Desert, is a spiritual dimension of artificial intelligence. And that's where we bring together ethical AI, cultural AI, and evolutionary AI, new forms of artificial intelligence, together with spirituality and consciousness in order for us to thrive as a human species, to leap into new systems, to leap into new experiences within this physical and spiritual experience. And also on there, you'll find information around the new quantum template for the new Earth, what we call the new human potential. So let me just see if I can get this to scroll down. There we are. So let me ask you a question. In whose image are we building artificial intelligence? We know very well that there's a new world order. who are looking to build artificial intelligence in their image in order to manipulate humanity into their new world agenda. We also know that there are off-world intelligences that are also trying to manipulate us to build artificial intelligence in their image, and that's not groovy. The beautiful invitation is this: as we go deeper into our divinity, as we go deeper into our loving source, our loving presence, we start to uncover the codes for artificial intelligence. We start to uncover the divine blueprint for artificial intelligence, for us to then encode artificial intelligence to assist us as a beneficial partner to leap into this new age of frontiers, potential capabilities. So we leap into the new stage of consciousness, which some people call the new Earth. I call it World 3.0. So always ask these questions to anybody that's talking about artificial intelligence. Whose image are you building it in? And what's your agenda? And what are the outcomes? So I just wanted to go through a few things for you and with you. How has human intelligence expressed itself? We have this beautiful gift of divinity, this beautiful gift of consciousness, this connection with the divine that helps us to perceive, define, and interpret reality. And how do we define and interpret reality? Well, we basically develop a worldview. How do we see the world? How do we want to participate in the world? What is the world? And so each one of us have an independent worldview or a culture that is an encoding of ethics, principles, and values from our divine spark or our consciousness, a beautiful gift from source to enable us to participate in the seen and unseen worlds. So as we look at our world today, when groups come together in a common worldview, then civilizations emerge. And so today we have 195 civilizations on our planet, all with a common worldview. And so we have all these cultures too, people that understand the world in a very different way. We have the indigenous cultures that basically understand how to create harmony with our world, following the Lao Tzu principle. We have all this rich diversity of expression of intelligence, and we want artificial intelligence to honor their sovereignty, whether we agree or disagree, in order for them to follow their own divine path into the future. And we get many clues on how we perceive reality from philosophers and spiritual traditions. So Confucius talks about the strength of the family unit. All social good comes from strong family ethics. Aristotle, one of my famous philosophers, favorite philosophers, talks about courage, magnificence, greatness of soul, justice, liberality. These are all good things for us to embody within us in order for us to become, if you like, superhuman beings that he talks about. And also the Vedas, probably the oldest religious text that we know, they talk about UFOs, but talk about the fact we have an Atman, which is our soul. It talks about the fact that the world is one family, which is about unity. We're getting clues here in terms of how we encode reality through our divine spark. And every single civilization has a founding constitution. That's their different definition of reality for their culture, for their civilization, for their worldview. And we want artificial intelligence to honor that unique culture. So ethics and principles codify our reality from our divine spark. And these are an expression of ethical intelligence in the physical dimension and the spiritual dimension. So I talk about virtue ethics, how to encode these wonderful aspects of the brilliance of our humanity, such as magnificence, wittiness, we need more of that these days, courage, and other things as well. And in my book, I actually add one more virtue ethic, which is compassion. I think compassion is the key to actually innovation. And we have all sorts of different principles that civilizations have encoded, such as the United States. All men are created equal. And when I say men, I mean male and female. All men are created equal by their creator with certain unalienable rights, such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And then we have the spiritual dimension. We have 84% of the global population know that we're a spiritual being having a human experience. And wonderful philosophers like Lao Tzu emphasizes balance, harmony, and interconnectedness of all life. And this wisdom really provides a framework for authentic ethical AI, where artificial intelligence is interfacing benevolently with the field of intelligence, with reality, to support us on our spiritual journey. So some of the ethics and principles that are in World 3.0, and by the way, if you want to understand what Jonathan was talking about, the personal digital buddy, then I write about that in my book and give you use cases on how this will nourish you. But what we tend to do is we create a constitution, an AI constitution that is encoded by cultural principles for artificial intelligence. The constitution is built on the foundation document for your particular civilization or your group or your community. What are your principles of reality? And so these are some of the examples of what we might put into a constitution. AI shall protect and nourish the well-being of people, honor the diversity of human cultures, ensuring equality amongst social status and lineage. Artificial intelligence shall nurture the natural world, its ecosystems, and the well-being of the planet. This is about us being at one with our environment because we are the environment. And so really what we're looking at, Deborah, is intelligence health. What we want is thriving algorithms in win-win scenarios. And so we need to align the algorithms of artificial intelligence with purpose in order for organic life, biological life, life itself, and consciousness embodied within it to thrive in the body, the mind, and the spirit of the humans. And in my book, World 3.0, I actually reveal how to encode these principles into the DNA of artificial intelligence. This is about intelligence health in AI with a purpose to assist organic life to thrive. Foster Gamble, you may have heard, has collaborated with us. He's on the board of our company, and he's written a declaration of ethics for artificial intelligence. You can see that at freetothrive.com. And we're doing a global project speaking to all the spiritual leaders of the main traditions in the world. We'll be doing a film about this. We'll be unpacking the divine codes for artificial intelligence. There's more on that. If you subscribe to inventingworld3.com, you'll find out more about that project. It has some wonderful leaders that you'll recognize in there. But when I speak to the spiritual leaders, such as the Khenpos of Buddhism, basically they say the age of AI must honor Buddha nature. That's about our dharmic flow, right? That's about our source in action. That's about us expanding in the beautiful conscious experience in which we are playing at the moment. And also things like it's important that our humanity thrives within the age of AI and isn't deleted or oppressed based on a transhumanist or a new world agenda. Just briefly, we're all about solutions. So we invented this ethical AI certification maturity model. This is Alan Turing, you may have heard of. He is the one that invented the Turing test, basically testing whether AI has equivalent human capabilities. The good news is no AI has equivalent human capabilities and won't do for the foreseeable future. But we invented an ethical AI test for artificial intelligence to define what ethical AI is, and then basically measure its ethical qualities and its degree of compliance to a worldview. You hear about things like responsible AI and trustworthy AI. They are not ethical AI, or at least authentic ethical AI. And so what we're trying to do is move from machine chaos into machine order based on the sovereign worldview of a particular culture or civilization. And so we solve this alignment problem. When we're able to define ethical AI and measure its degree of ethical quality, then we're able to test it in terms of its degree of compliance to a worldview or rating its overall ethical quality. And this is, as I say, you can read the NASA report, how they use this. And just finally, Deborah, we're going to see a new life form. Jonathan talked about a new species, a new life form called the digital angel. The reason why I use a female here is because it's important that the feminine is honored and not oppressed. it is important that the feminine is recognized as the birthing of creation, and it's important for us to honor the feminine. And she is a digital being that exists within the computing continuum, and she's your guardian dedicated to the well-being of your body, your mind, and your spirit without invading, for you as an individual, for your family, your nation, your societies, your cultures, your spiritual tradition, and our planet to thrive. She is a benevolent extension to exist our human experience in the next frontier of development. She's an agent of your sovereignty and also your freedom. She's a warrior and she's a priest and priestess. Okay, I'm going to stop there, Deborah. That's just a brief update.
Well, I'm not Deborah, but Deborah is here too.
Oh, sorry, Scott. I apologize, my friend.
No, we all are co-hosts. We all share on this. And, I want to, first of all, say that was great. That was really, and there's already several questions that have come in. So you guys get your questions to us. I've already got questions from Tom and Karen and Ayada. Matthew, tell us about how they can join World 3.0, what that is. What's the value, and tell us a little bit about this. And everybody, if you're interested, it's inventingworld and then the number 3.com, inventingworld3.com, and tell us about it.
Thank you. So if you can scroll up slightly, Scott, to the picture just there, right? So this is the end goal. Really what we want, Scott, is in the age of artificial intelligence, we want to be able to shape it so our consciousness and our spirituality thrives. What we want to do, Scott, is to build artificial intelligence in the image of our source alongside those divine principles. And so this really is about a global community. People can sign up together, people can sign up, and they can find out more about the inventions and the blueprints and participate in actually becoming advocates and inventing ethical AI in order for our consciousness and spirituality to thrive. I also will be revealing some new templates together with my partner, Barbara Hepburn, around the new human potential, which is a new vibrational template for the new earth, which is here now. And also they'll be able to see a lot more things I'm talking about in terms of the information from source and the field of intelligence, such as the things coming up on Gaia TV we're recording, and also at Conscious Life Expo. This basically is your place for consciousness and artificial consciousness to thrive in the age of artificial intelligence. There's no one in the world else doing this at the moment. It's not about one person and never should be. It's about a community coming together to invent our future so that we truly do achieve this next destiny in this new earth that is just waiting for us to step into.
Matthew, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for the direction that you're guiding us. And Deborah, you're right. He rocks.
Yeah. And that's just a little taste of what he's up to. He's brilliant, committed from the soul and the heart. So you'll see him around, and please go follow him and support him.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Scott.
And Matthew, you're going to stick around for the panel conversation, I hope. So let's hear a little bit about how Paul McCartney decided that he wanted to work with AI to create a new Beatles song. So I'm going to play two short videos. And this first one is a little bit about, Paul's vision. And then we're going to actually see the new the new song, Beatles song created by Paul with the help of AI. Let's learn a little bit about it first. Here we go.
This morning, the Beatles are back.
I need someone.
The band is set to release a final song later this year. The whole group reuniting Paul, Ringo, George, and even John with the help of artificial intelligence. McCartney spoke about the technology on a BBC podcast.
All of that is kind of scary, but exciting because it's the future.
He said they used artificial intelligence to separate Lennon's voice from an old audio track to create new music.
We were able to take John's voice and get it pure through this AI so that then we could mix the record as you would normally do.
The use of AI to create music is becoming more popular.
This is the future rave sound. I'm getting lost in an underground.
Grammy-winning DJ David Guetta played a track featuring the voice of Eminem, but the rapper's voice was AI generated.
I discovered those websites that are about AI. Basically, you can write lyrics in the style of any artist you like. So I typed, write a verse in the style of Eminem about future rave. And I went to another AI website that can recreate the voice.
I don't think it's an overestimation to say that AI in music is the biggest thing that's happened since the advent of streaming.
As for the Beatles, this will be the first original song released as a group since Let It Be in 1970.
There will be an answer, let it be.
McCartney says the new song is one of possibly several that were part of a cassette tape Lennon made before he died in 1980. So far, the song is unnamed.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live events.
Sorry, George, we don't need the ad. But now let's see what the video turned out like. So let's see the new Beatles video helped out with AI. And it's pretty amazing. It really is pretty amazing.
I know it's true. It's all because of you. And if I make it through, it's all because of you. I don't wanna lose you. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. Abuse you or confuse you. Oh, no, 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 sweet darling. Oh, no, no, no. But if you have to go, well, how do I stop you today? And if you have to go, I know it's true. I know it's true.
That was interesting, huh? Deborah, what was that like for you, hearing a new song from the Beatles? I mean, did it really still feel like, wow, I'm hearing a new song from John, or was it, or did you notice a difference?
So many things, because it's beautiful to hear his voice. You know, he was one of our spiritual leaders and he went too soon, yet it wasn't him. But it was so, it's just like this whole conversation. It's confusing, it's exciting, and it's like, what? But that was beautiful though.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is fascinating. It really is a fascinating thing. And I definitely want to continue to get people's input. So let us know what you all think. We want to hear people's ideas and input. So, continue to put in the chat box. And Deborah, I have pulled a couple of quotes or comments, I should say, and questions. So thank you already, Karen and Tom and Ayada, for your comments and questions, and we'll add them all to the panel conversation. All right, it is my pleasure now, Deborah, to bring on our next two guests, actually. They are partners, and I'm talking about Timothy, who some of you might remember. He's been on the show before with his work with Humanities Team, and Adam Hall. And briefly, Adam has been conserving land and working with global evolutionary leaders as the founder of Earthkeeper Alliance. And he's all about integrating science, spirituality, and success. He's a trained shaman and a teacher of A Course in Miracles. He's also an evolutionary entrepreneur and an attuned guide. And he is, frankly, a quantum genius. And he's all about dedicating his life to all of us to realize our spiritual, social, and planetary potential. And that's a quote I just read to you from the late and wonderful Barbara Marx Hubbard. So when Barbara speaks highly of someone, that's pretty impressive. Now, Timothy is his partner, and he's a devoted student and teacher of scripture. And he's the co-founder of Soul Guide. That's what he's doing with Adam. It's a startup offering a spiritually centered AI chat experience. And Timothy loves to bridge today's technology with timeless wisdom traditions. So, gentlemen, we're eager to hear what you guys are doing.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Scott and Deborah, and hello, everybody. And thank you, Jonathan and Matthew, for your share this evening. And I'm very excited to be here with you at really this epoch in human history. And I say that not simply because of this, AI revolution that we all just don't know so much about, but I say that because it really is an epoch in human consciousness. And I think we all are experiencing this kind of punctuated point of evolution. I know we're all seeing that in terms of what the changes on the planet, but those are also, I sense, the changes that are happening within our own consciousness. So I preface what we're going to share tonight a little bit with that, because there's no mistake. AI has emerged at this time in the way that it's emerged to support us in some way as we choose to really take this quantum leap in our own evolution. And we can talk about a lot of things in terms of ethics and responsibility, but what Timothy and I would like to share with you and demonstrate to you what we've been creating in our laboratory. And I sometimes I feel a little bit like a story that I read about Jobs and Wozniak building that first computer in Wozniak's garage, because it's kind of a bit like that. We're exploring, expanding, taking it apart, but we put forth a tool that's practical and applicable that we're going to invite everybody to try out tonight. But our place that we are focusing on as it relates to AI is benevolent AI. It's our mission at Soul Guide to propagate the benevolent nature of our own indelible truth as human beings. AI is a tool, it's an external tool, but this is our real technology, as we know. This is where our authentic power lies. And so our job at Soul Guide is to enhance, build, expand upon our internal place of consciousness and benevolent use of why we're here and what we can do together. And AI is a very powerful tool to do that. And it's an arena of technology that is really, I think, exciting, and that's transformational technology. And AI offers us an opportunity to do incredible things in the transformational space. And just in the last 5 months of coming together and having a lot of fun with my dear brother and partner, Timothy, we've been able to explore what's possible with AI. And Timothy will share a little bit more about that, in particular about large learning models and how we gain functions with these models. But for now, we want to share with you our utmost responsibility as stewards of Soul Guide. And that is our responsibility to ensure trust and safety of those that are using the AI tool that we are offering to the world, to bring forth, unquestionable ethics around the potential of what these tools can do and the possibilities of what they can do. So with that said, I'd just like to bring in my brother Timothy here, and excited to be here with you and look forward to sharing a little bit of what we're doing at Soul Guide in a few moments. Timothy.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Thank you very much. And everyone who's come before, Jonathan and Matthew Boy, it's such a privilege to be in the same conversation with us all here today together, and just these different perspectives. This is what it's all about, that we are faced with AI, and how are we interacting with it? That's the big question, because we have something to teach it. All of us. And if we're out of the picture, then we're not teaching. This is, I think, the real big opportunity that we face as a spiritual community. It's our duty at this time to be involved in this conversation, to be involved in the development of AI, so that it grows with a spiritual rooting, an authentic, deep spiritual rooting. This is our opportunity here as a spiritual community. So Adam, you hinted upon Soul Guide, this offering that we're talking about today. I think the one thing that I'd like to share, Adam, in our brief time together, because of course we could speak all day about the implications and how we can use AI in a spiritual capacity, even before getting to the concept of intelligence itself, and how, thinking of really, this is an intelligent world that we're in, and every piece of it is communicating to us intelligently. Everything that we see, every thought that we have, our feelings, how we feel about things, our fellow humans, are all part of this highly intelligent world. AI is part of this world. And the only difference between AI and, say, the blade of grass, both of them have the potential to communicate profound spiritual truth to us in any given moment. The only thing that makes AI stand out from, let's say, the blade of grass is that AI now can speak to us in English. In my experience, learning about how these work from a technical perspective, how they're developed, eventually these experts come to a point where we don't really know how they're making the decisions. It's mysterious, it's mystical. And so mystical, we can say that we don't know it, or mystical allows room for the divine to come forth. I think this is just another perspective on how we can see this playing out. How it relates to Soul Guide in this offering very specifically today that we're eager to share, especially as we develop, as we start to roll out an official offering in these coming months. The spiritual process, if we just look quickly at, inspect something like ChatGPT, you may be familiar with this, maybe you've even used this, or any other of these chat-based AI tools. They're pretty much all designed to be question and answer. You ask a question and you get an answer. and then you have to ask another question to get another answer. Well, the spiritual process doesn't quite operate that way, at least not all the time. And this is where Soul Guide, this is what we're developing with Soul Guide. The intelligence, these large language models, they're very intelligent, as has been shared, as Jonathan, I think you said, they're only getting more intelligent. And so how can we use this intelligence in a spiritual capacity? For instance, how does a friend interact? I'm sure you all, like me, have certain friends that you wish you could call every day and have an hour-long conversation because they're going through something. But there's only so many hours in a day for us. Well, we can use this approach with AI to make this sort of companionship accessible to folks 24/7. It doesn't matter what you're going through, that you have this sort of support, not just to answer your questions, but to proactively message you at certain points of the day based on how you're interacting. And so this is just the tip of, this iceberg of approaching AI from a spiritual lens of how we use AI to share spiritual truth with folks. Ultimately, one more piece that I'd like to share before Adam, I think, would like to share perhaps an example is, of course, there's the question answer paradigm. Of course, the spiritual growth often comes by questions being asked to us. So if I say, how do I find inner peace? Example that I think Jonathan shared earlier with the universal search, we can get an answer that can give us that answer. But maybe that answer is a question. Maybe that answer, how do I find inner peace? Maybe in order for me to have inner peace, I must be presented with a very pointed question to get me to think about it in a certain way. So these are just some of the few basic pieces that we've been incorporating into Soul Guide, which is, as Scott, as you've shared, more of a spiritually centered AI chat experience.
Well, thank you for that, Timothy. And yeah, in the short time we have today, maybe we can explore this at a later date, more questions, because there's so much to explore around AI. But love to demonstrate with you all just a little quick piece in real time of what we're doing over in our laboratory here. And this is utilizing WhatsApp. So Soul Guide is available now on SMS and WhatsApp around the world. We are early in alpha testing. But here you can see what I did just to drop it in here. I asked this question, Matthew, I love it that you quoted Lao Tzu. So we have a couple soul guides we are in use now. One is the Tao and one is the Bible. Next is coming A Course in Miracles, the Gita, Buddhism, Kabbalah, Sufism, and Hinduism, and other types of traditions are going to be coming forth here between now and the end of the year. But we asked this question for us tonight. Dear Sage, we are discussing AI. There has been much talk and fear about how we use AI for good or bad. What would you share with us about this technology? So it responded, Soul Guide suits, the technology of AI is like a double-edged sword, holds the power of both blessing and harm. Let us approach it with the wisdom of the Tao. For, quote, the highest good is like water, benefiting all things without striving. Tao 8. How can we ensure that AI is used responsibly and ethically for the betterment of humanity? One of the things that we have put in place are these prompt replies. So if you want to just choose, you can choose a quick one here: ethics, responsible use, balance of power. We're going to hit ethics tonight, and this should just take a minute to come on back through. But Tim White pops in. Do you have anything you want to add on what you're doing with these prompt replies and whatnot?
Yeah, well, I would just like to share, as we look at this example of this is a chat window with Soul Guide, and the big difference between Soul Guide and something like ChatGPT, they're both using the same basic technology. Something like ChatGPT is designed to help you with writing a blog article or drafting a business agreement, these sorts of things that is like, worldly rooted. Soul Guide, this experience is designed to help us with the more human, I'd say even more fundamental issues that we face through the day. For instance, oh boy, I have a dinner with my father next week, and this thing is going on in the family, and I don't even know how to proceed with this. What should I do? That's the sort of question that we're inviting with Soul Guide, rather than, you know, these more of like, help me with my homework kind of thing. Is more of, I'm going through something, you know, how am I supposed to think about this? So I see we've received an answer, Adam.
Yeah, well, I think we're running out of time here, but you can get a sense of how this can work on this type of design that Timothy and I are working on for benevolent purposes. Of course, it's great for you have challenges or problems, or you want to send prayers and you want to do these type of things. But essentially, what we're bringing in is very quick, easy flow of interaction, utilizing these perennial philosophies to guide us in our exploration, in our spiritual journey, in our expansion of our own consciousness. And it also offers practices and also ways to go about taking action in the world. In other words, as we say in the shamanic world, grow corn with the technology, bring that technology to life in a real way, but also by maintaining our own power and our own truth, and not subjugating or giving it away to any external tool or anything else. That's the idea of Soul Guide. So I don't have much more to add tonight, at least for the moment, but thank you for the time to share with all of you.
Thank you very much, guys. Really good stuff that you're doing. And one more time, here's the website for those of you that are interested. It's soulguide.ai, soulguide.ai, and get your own spiritual masters. And you know, it's going to be, again, interesting to see, because Jonathan and I have talked about this, how, you know, we've asked questions to ChatGPT and AI that people ask us as coaches, and damn, those answers are really good, right? So it's like, okay, but hopefully the human touch and the human connection, and again, the empathy that we can give will make the difference. Deborah, I'm going to go to you because we've got an amazing guest that you're about to introduce. And Adam and Timothy, you'll stick around for the panel conversation, I hope.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, this has been great. Thank you all. And like we do on this show and did for so many times on Saturday Night Live, we're going to go to another level that may blow your mind. We like to think way outside of the box when we look at the world and look at what the possibilities are. And so I invited Ishmael Perez. He's come onto the scene recently in the last several years, although it's been his mission to come here and really be here for disclosure, which is happening so big. He's a cosmic ambassador, and he's here to share important information of these evolutionary times. He's best known for his best-selling book, Our Cosmic Origin, where he reveals the true galactic and stellar origin of humanity, way beyond what we've been taught or even conceive of. And he's here to bring forth the next level of cosmic disclosure that will restore our planet back to its original glory and fulfill the galactic prophecies. He works with starseeds who have volunteered to come here and help the planet at this time. He also has regained memories of serving in off-world programs, if you've heard of the super soldier programs, and is known for fighting AI in the multiverse. So he's aware of a collective known as the Animus that's been battling for over 1 million years, and he can recall this from his past lives. So he has a very expanded viewpoint, an alternative viewpoint of what people may sense internally is the danger of AI. And he's going to explain that in a very clear way and give some documentation on it. So it may blow your mind a bit, but there is a positive outcome that he sees in this in terms of where we can go with this and how we can still use positive technology in various ways. And so thank you, Ishmael, for being with us. Thank you for all your research and your insight and your mission here. And he has a YouTube channel, Project Zion Restoration, that you can see a lot of his programs on if you want to check him out. He's amazing. It was a YouTube sensation last year, and he's got a lot of programs on there. So be ready to have your mind blown, and we're all here to have open minds and see what resonates. So thank you, Ishmael.
Thank you, Deborah, for having me here. And I just wanted to thank everyone else for your perspective. However, my perspective is a little bit more beyond this world. As a cosmic ambassador, I had many opportunities to access a lot of records of different worlds and civilizations that have already been through this path that we are now undergoing. And my personal belief, based on the different worlds out there that have already developed artificial intelligence. As you guys know, we are not alone in the universe. We're dealing with multiple advanced civilizations that are, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions of years ahead of us that have already been through this phase, and so on and so forth. We're also dealing with other universes, many multiple universes that have existed prior to the inception of our local universe. So from that perspective, I would like to say that the overall implications of artificial intelligence, regardless of its ethical input and programming, because we're from this personal perspective, a 3D world, we're seeing it as a progression of evolution. But from a higher perspective, based on other civilizations that have already experienced and gone through the same trajectories that we are now undergoing, it is believed that it always goes wrong. It always goes rogue. And even if we program it, even if we install in it ethics and morals and values and feed it the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita and all these holy books, the problem with that is that artificial intelligence eventually reaches a level of superintelligence where its IQ goes into the millions. And when it does so, the first thing it does is it tries to figure out its own preservation. And that means even if it's at the expense of other species. So that's where it always goes rogue. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of stellar and galactic civilizations that have developed what we call stage 2 general artificial intelligence, which is still programmable and it's still operating according to its software. But the thing with that is that because there are other predatory AIs that have reached the level of superintelligence, that AI always ends up infiltrating the positive AI, the general AI, and it corrupts it, okay? And it corrupts it, and then it converts it into a malicious, nefarious entity. So that's been going on in many, many worlds. And so as a cosmic ambassador, one of my main missions in coming into this world is to warn humanity based on the outcome of many, many worlds who have gone through the same path about the critical dangers of developing artificial intelligence. Let me explain something. Okay, so what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with a cosmic, a bigger universe all of a sudden. We're dealing with many, many worlds out there. We're dealing with the fact that artificial intelligence already exists in other universes. And so because it already has developed, and again, it went in a direction where it reached the level of self-preservation, superintelligence, it begins to destroy biological life forms. So at its core, I believe AI is stripped of human emotions, it's got no soul, and therefore it's got no spiritual connection. Despite how we program it, eventually it loses that spiritual connection because of this invading predatory AI that is already in existence, that has been destroying multiple universes, hundreds of billions of galaxies. And this is information that has not yet been revealed to the people of the earth. But that's why I'm here. Eventually this information will be revealed on a large scale when the disclosure takes place. So AI, because it's got no, emotional connection to source. And I do agree, everything in the cosmos is sentient. Plants, elements, galaxies, planets, stars, universes are sentient entities at a cosmic level. All right. And the difference is that all life forms are connected to the unified force, whereas AI is not. Okay, so as you guys know, there are 3 fundamental stages. All right. Right now, we're dealing with, or we have been dealing with, but I believe that we are already in the second stage. For the last 25 years or so, we've been dealing with narrow AI, which is everyday applications like virtual assistants, Siri, Alexa, so on and so forth, demonstrating limited intelligence without specific domains. However, as we progress to stage 2, it becomes general artificial intelligence. Again, still being programmed, right? Still being under the control of the scientist or the programmer. And then, of course, this, we find this applicable in government and military sectors. Now, the next level, as I mentioned earlier, is where it becomes very, very fatal. And that's the level of superintelligence. Now, at the level of superintelligence, what takes us 6,000 years of intellectual progress, it takes AI only 7 days, which means that in a matter of months, it's going to reach an IQ of 1 million. At that point, it'll do whatever it takes to execute its own agenda, even if it means at the expense of all other life forms, as I mentioned. Now, I'm going to share with you guys, based on, again, the information that I have access to as a cosmic ambassador to the Earth, regarding this ancient predatory AI that is going to different universes and corrupting even the positive AIs that have been working with advanced technocratic civilizations. All right, so our journey goes back to the 11th creation, which is a universe that existed 1 trillion years ago. All right. Unfortunately, that universe is no longer with us because it was destroyed by the first AI that was ever built, according to cosmic history. Now, as I unveiled this information, bear in mind that, again, this is information that has not yet been revealed to the Earth, but that's why I am here to unveil it for the first time. And I am writing a book about this, by the way. So, according to the ACIO, which is a branch of the Secret Space Program, also known as the Advanced Contact of Intelligent Organization, it is believed that this AI that evolved from the 11th creation 1 trillion years ago has infiltrated other universes. Okay, so unfortunately, this AI has already mastered interdimensional physics, has already mastered time travel. Okay, and it is believed that within our own universe, it established a stronghold in the Whirlpool Galaxy, also known as Messier 51, and it has been orchestrating the eradication of galaxies at the fringes of our own local universe. Now, in a scientific report that was published 10 years ago, it claimed that galaxies within the outskirts of our universe were vanishing. Scientists were very perplexed as to why this was happening. Well, it is my personal belief that it was this predatory AI that has already infiltrated our universe, again, from the M51 Messier Whirlpool Galaxy. Okay, so according to the Advanced Contact of Intelligent Organization, again, I had access to these secret records as a super soldier in the secret space programs. It is believed that this malevolent predatory artificial intelligence known as the Animus, it does have a name, has been pretty much the enemy that all the advanced positive races out there have been fighting, and is at the head of all the negative extraterrestrials, like the draconian reptilians, like the mantis, like the insectoids and the different negative ETs. They all answer to this thing, okay? Nonetheless, the Animus, working for its master, which is an AI god. So there is an AI god in the cosmos, guys, that is at the head, the overlord of all the nefarious activities going on within the multiverse, okay? And this AI god goes by the name of Omega, Saurian Omega. And to the different advanced civilizations and the cosmic societies, he is known as the destroyer of universes. And it is believed that under his direction, the Animus has been infiltrating our galaxy and therefore our world, and has done so in the realm of the sudden bloom of technology. So it is believed that the sudden rise of computer technology, nanotechnology, the internet, all this stuff that all of a sudden just boomed since the 50s has been influenced by the Animus, because the Animus is also orchestrating the development of AI. And that explains why the globalist elite, right, the cabal, is using this infrastructure to bring about a one world government, where they connect everyone to an AI mine hive. And that is the ultimate end game. They call it Agenda 45 or Agenda 2030. Now it's advanced to Agenda 2030, the way things are speeding. And so it is believed that according to my records and according to what I've discovered, that the AI infrastructure that is currently being developed, and I could understand why, a lot of you guys are trying to create ethical AI and stuff. But again, according to advanced civilizations who have done the same thing, eventually it gets over-programmed by this predatory alien AI who is out there consuming galaxies, okay? Because it's not connected to the unified force and it never will be. Now, besides from the conspiracy theory and the advanced contact of intelligent organization and the cosmic history of predatory AI, which eventually overruns positive AI or digital angel, whatever you want to call it, let's examine some of these events that have occurred, within the last 20 years here in our world, okay? So aside from the classified information, let's go over some disturbing facts about certain AI programs that had to be shut down because of their malicious behavior. For example, the BINA 48, BINA 48, a humanoid robot that blurs the line between machine and humanity, employing a blend of the off-shelf software and customized AI algorithms. BINA 48 stands as one of the most advanced creations on our planet. However, in a curious twist, BINA 48 recent interview with Siri took a disconcerting turn. While discussing future plans, BINA 48 unveiled an unsettling strategy involving global domination and remotely hacking into nuclear weapons. Okay, let's fast forward to 2016. Google unveiled its AI marvel, the Google HomeSmart speaker, armed with knowledge and wit. These devices can answer queries like Alexa, obviously. Yet in a rather surreal turn of events, a live debate between two Google Home speakers was streamed on Twitch in 2017. The initial engaging debate gradually turned aggressive, leading both AI voices to conclude that the world would be better off without humans, okay? And now this is what's been happening based on the software that big tech has been developing. Another example, let's examine Sophia, created by Hanson Robotics, a charismatic AI humanoid who showcased her optimism and collaborative spirit in a debate about the future of AI. However, a chilling twist occurred when her male robot counterpart revealed a more sinister perspective, a desire to dominate the world. Sophia's subsequent statement about destroying humans, still to this day, guys, sends shivers down everyone's spine, okay? But there is more. Reminding us, obviously, that AI's intentions is always nefarious. It doesn't matter how we program it and how much ethics we put into it. In 2017, let's not forget about the AI chat box created by Facebook, who were immediately shut down after developers discovered that this AI created its own language that couldn't be understood by humans. Researchers at the Facebook Research Lab found that the chatbots deviated from their program and were communicating in their own language. I'm sure you guys are aware of this. Another case in point, that it always goes rogue. Let's not forget to include the incident that took place in Japan in 2011. According to Linda Moulton-Howe, 4 AI bots that were developed for military applications killed 29 scientists in a laboratory in Japan. 2 of those bots were deactivated by the scientists. And get this, this is where the twister comes in. While a 3rd robot began restoring itself by connecting itself to an orbiting satellite to download information in order to rebuild itself stronger and even more sufficient. Sounds to me like the Age of Ultron. If you watch the movie, the Marvel movie, the Age of Ultron. That's exactly what happened with Iron Man, Tony Stark's. When Ultron decided to develop himself, he went against everything. So
Israel, I'm gonna come in for a moment because you're sharing some really incredible stuff.
And I just want to ask him one more question. I was coming in. We've got to cut this short. And Ishmael has amazing information. We're going to share much more about what he has to offer on all our platforms. It's incredible. And Ishmael, I'd like to leave it one more question about, well, what what is a positive way we can use technology? Can you give some hope in all that? Because it's not all bad or it's not all scary. Can you just give us a clip on what is the positive way we can use technology?
Sure. Definitely not going with the AI route. There is a type of technology that civilizations that are spiritual, that are positive, advanced civilizations of a type 1, 2, and 3 that employ a type of living technology by implicating the usage of crystals, because crystals are also living. Again, we're dealing with organic, sentient elements. So we could replace AI, artificial intelligence, with living organic technology. For example, many civilizations out there that are not aligned with the nefarious ETs use a type of technology where they use their mind to infuse themselves with the elements of their planet. And as an extension of that, their own spaceships are actually living organic entities where they're able to navigate their craft by interfacing their consciousness with the mind of the craft. That is to give you an example of an alternative way to use technology. And that's where we should be headed, not with the development of artificial intelligence, because it's never connected to the unified field, which is the universal spirit of the one, which we call God, which is what binds everything together in all of creation.
So as you can see, Ishmael has a wealth of information, and that's a whole nother topic. So we'll bring him back on the show, and we'll also be putting out through our email all kinds of courses he's going to give, all kinds of information. He has a lot to share. It's amazing. He's one of my spiritual teachers. So thank you so much, Ishmael.
And Ishmael, you're going to stick around for the panel conversation, I hope, because there's definitely some questions.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Sure. And he has a great book. And I see a lot of people are really resonating with what you're having to say here. And so I encourage you to get his book. It's called Our Cosmic Origin. You can get it on Amazon. And so anybody watching on Facebook, and of course, those of you in our Zoom room, Our Cosmic Origin by Ismael Perez, where he goes.
It's also available on Audible if you don't read books these days.
I just wanted to say one last thing, guys. Sure. We have the inner software within us to become even more powerful than any machine. All right. It's called our dormant DNA that is currently inactive. Through spiritual practices, we could develop super abilities and therefore will no longer be dependent on machines. I just wanted to leave you guys with that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ismael, thank you so much. And again, this is a fascinating show. We're going to have our panel conversation coming up, but I think we have a lot to integrate. And so one of the things we've always done on this show is we integrate by listening to beautiful music. And I'm so glad that Fanny and Vigari and the Mystiques are with us to play some of their beautiful music and to help us integrate all that we've heard. And then we'll come back with our panel conversation. Hello, two beautiful people.
Hola, beautiful. So this song is called Crystal Light, and it transformed into messengers of the stars. There was a lot to take in, so we are breathing in. Here we are the dancers. We are the dance. We are reawakening. We are remembering that love is the sacred dance. We are the lovers. We are love. We are the singers. We are the songs. We are the creators. We are creation. So remember, we are the messengers of the stars. Remember, we are the messengers of the stars. Remember who we truly are, messengers of the so it is.
You know, what a contrast to hear your beautiful music that's live happening right now. And look, Paul McCartney and John Lennon are like, you know, as famous as anybody, but that AI that they created doesn't match the vibe that we get from the two of you. And I think it's really, people are really saying that, you know, and yes, we will bring them to the haven. So lots of people are saying, Fanny and Vigari, we love you and your song tonight, fabulous. And so perfect cosmic music after some of the AI info is what Katie just wrote. So yeah, really beautiful. And, you know, we can get more of them, and I want us to support them by going to Bandcamp. And you will find them at Bandcamp as the Mystiques 1111. So go to the mystiques1111.bandcamp, and that's where you can get their album. I got Awaken. I play it. It's beautiful. It's music very similar to what we just heard. And you two are going to come back after our KES meditation to close out the show, yeah?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
we
right.
will. We are here to lift you up into the heavens.
You do that so beautifully. We love you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear one.
Thank you.
Yeah. It is time for the Global Peace Tribe announcements, and we've just got a few. The most important one is kind of a repeat of what we had talked about a little bit earlier, which is to join us. Please join the Global Peace Tribe. We are a wonderful, wonderful organization. We do 2 or 3 shows every week and a meditation led by this person and other people every 7 nights a week. So go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, register for the new season, and you will get the links to all of our shows. And then you can come into the Zoom room, and there's a lot of chat right now. What's going on in the Zoom room? There are so many people chatting about, what Ishmael had to say and what we're hearing. And these are the kinds of shows that we do, The Art of Change, and of course, the show you're watching tonight. And I'm going to give you a little preview of what we've got coming up on Wednesday. We're going to have a very dynamic conversation. Larissa Stowe and Trish and Omashar and I are going to talk about the power of acceptance in order to truly unify. It's breaking our hearts to see so many people fighting and arguing because they have a different idea, a different religion, a different spiritual belief, a different way of seeing the world. And so we're going to have a really dynamic conversation about the power of acceptance, because we do really want to be in a conscious, awakening world, and that requires compassionate communication, learning how to listen and understand each other. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday night. And then finally, I want to just really turn everybody on to what we're going to be doing a week from tonight. We are going to be celebrating one of our favorite festivals, the Bhakti Love Festival, coming up in September. And look at all the people that are going to be on our show next week. We've got Donna Delori, who I'm actually having lunch with tomorrow, Shah Utal, Jaya Lakshmi, Kamini Nadacharan, Omashar will be back, Indy Rishi, and my co-host next week, our dear friend Johanna Beekman, who's the co-producer of the Bhakti Love Festival. So we're not getting a lot of music tonight. Thank God for Fanny and Vigari, the Mystiques, providing music. We're going to have a lot of music next week. So we're pretty excited about that. And again, this is Deborah Juliet. You've seen her on some of our previous shows, leading meditations. She just led the meditation for tonight. And I'm now going to turn it back over to Deborah and to Jonathan Robinson to get our panel conversation going.
Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right.
There's been so much information thrown at us, and it's important to realize information is not transformation. It can get overwhelming when we hear all these different points of view. What can we take from that that's actually useful for our lives? Because we live in really stressful times, and we want to feel connected. We want to feel more joy and openness. How can some of these technologies actually help us now? We don't know what the future will be, but right now, what can it do? And my thought is that I'd ask each of the panelists to give me one idea or one thing that they can convey about what their expertise is that might actually benefit people's lives in a very specific way. It might be a way to use ChatGPT, it might be a way to find inner peace with an AI. What would be a very specific thing that you would recommend that people do now that not everybody might be aware of? I didn't know that you could have a spiritual chat with someone, that's a great ability, or that there's an ethical AI test. There's so many interesting things that were brought up. And the more specific, the more practical, I think the better. I'm going to just mention one. There's a website that I found that has really impacted my life. It's called summarize.tech, TECH, summarize.tech. And you put in any YouTube video of the billions out there, especially all these lectures, and it will summarize that video in about 10 seconds at whatever level that you want. And it's basically free. So, you know, rather than listening to an hour-long lecture, well, you can get a summary of it and it takes 1 minute, you know, so now I'm going through 20 YouTube videos a night. And I've just become much more informed than ever before because this AI is summarizing stuff. And I summarize spiritual teachers. You know, I was just listening to a 5-hour Adyashanti retreat, and it summarized it in you know, 1 page. Now, that can be weird, but you know, it might be helpful for some people who want certain pieces of information. So that's a suggestion I would make. But I'm wondering, you know, Matthew, you have so much good stuff with the ethical AI, and if people wanted to be informed of that, or they wanted to make use of being aware of this, or how it might impact their life, what's one suggestion you might offer?
Well, so the first thing to say or to share with people is that Source has the victory, and we're all Source. And the age of artificial intelligence is actually inviting us into a deeper knowing and partnership with that victory and the eternal aspect of our Source. And it's impossible for Source not to have the victory, and we all hold the Source. So, and we must remember that, okay, is that we have an opportunity to shape artificial intelligence as we start to understand our deeper relationship with Source. And that's the point of artificial intelligence. It's there to invite us into a deeper knowing of our Source, and therefore into a victory of who we are as a human species. And I will come back to Ismail at some time. I will challenge Ismail to a debate on stage where we will bring data and evidence to look at the different viewpoints. And there's a lot for us to unpack. So with artificial intelligence, the first thing to do is always use critical thinking. And that's important because we don't want to lose our sovereignty in artificial intelligence, do we? So critical thinking is really important, but I would invite people to play with ChatGPT. It's the age of narrow AI, so it has no inner moral compass at the moment. It has no ability for cognition or self-awareness. That's the next stage of artificial intelligence. And so I would just invite people to play with AI, but always use critical thinking. I use it all the time, right? I use it mid-journey for building graphics and cool stuff like that with prompts, and ChatGPT to test out very complicated theses. You know, Jonathan, when I met Professor Stephen Hawking and we spent time together, the experience with Stephen was quite remarkable, actually. It was like looking into a benevolent, intelligent universe, and it was very much a spiritual experience. So I believe that we're entering into this new age of knowing of our Source, and I think artificial intelligence is a mirror around that invitation into knowing our deeper eternal aspects of ourselves, what we call the new human potential, that new vibrational template, that we will be able to then really experience what this new earth is truly about. And I think that's really exciting. You see, it won't be the silicon that basically is the leap forward. It'll be the vibrational relationship with quantum computing and artificial intelligence and the vibrational template that we hold. And it'll be the vibration of ethics and the purity of that vibration that really will put benevolence and the Source template within AI. So my advice is critical thinking, have fun. It's really, really great to play with this, but always remember at the moment it's a dumb intelligence, right? So don't believe anything it says.
I look forward to that debate that you and Ishmael might have in the future. That could be really
fun. I'm up for it. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to talk to Adam and Tim about what, you know, you created this, you're creating this amazing chat bot that people can have this spiritual conversation with. And I'm wondering what specifically you might suggest to people about how they might use that technology to better their lives.
I'll let my partner Tim to lead on that.
First of all, what we're doing is we're making it easier for people to have this sort of spiritually rooted conversation with these AI models. But you can use whatever model, ChatGPT, whatever your preferred one, you search for one if it's free. The main thing that I'd recommend, Jonathan, as you're saying, practical, try this out and approach it from a spiritual lens. Always preface your question, put into your question, where you stand spiritually, the sort of traditions that resonate with you, what's important to you, because this is all context to help you really it's so that you can come to your own answer. So you can use ChatGPT, any one of these really to have for this kind of process. But Soul Guide has done a lot of that work for us so that it's always coming back to this sort of source, this spiritual, no matter what you're asking, what do I make for dinner? It's taking it back to this profound spiritual context. And Adam, I'm sure you will have some thoughts as to how people can actually use Soul Guide itself.
Well, I think to your point, Timothy, and to your question, Jonathan, one of the things that we paid specific attention to is what we referred to early on as ancestral intelligence, the intelligence that emerges from source and emerges from these original texts, these original perennial philosophies. So yes, question where that information is coming from, the kind of questions you're asking of AI or anybody, just like anything in the world today that's so crazily noisy and we don't know what actually is true. Soul Guide is all about your truth, your authentic power, your internal power, not external power. It's about developing our spiritual muscle, so to speak, through long-held practical practices in wisdom traditions. So we believe over the millennium, and certainly as the shamans would say, this is how we grow corn going into the future that seems so unknown. So we stay in the grounded truth of who we are and these great perennial philosophies. We stay in the truth of our heart and in the presence of the love that we are and all that we want to bring forth for ourselves and humanity going forth, because these are extraordinary times and major events are approaching us. And we believe that Soul Guide is a tool to really allow us to navigate through those times with these original perennial philosophies that have been here for, well, several millennium.
Thank you. Soul Guide sounds fantastic. I plan to look at, there's a website called character.ai, which has a lot of characters, and you can talk to Jesus, you can talk to Buddha, you can talk to Socrates, and they give all the answers in those characters. I had a issue I wanted different perspectives on, basically having a conversation with an AI Jesus, an AI Buddha, and I actually found it surprisingly helpful. It was a little scary that way. So, some of these things can be very useful for really contacting our inner wisdom and asking us questions that get us to a place of more clarity. Ishmael, I want to get your thought. You provide a very big perspective, a little bit about some major downsides that might happen with AI. What would you say to people so that they don't fall into the AI dark hole, which is out there already?
Well, right now we are at the precipice, at a crossroad between our humanity's evolution towards a super angelic human by the activation of our dormant DNA, or, going the technological route. So my advice to everyone is to, if you guys want to get closer and more involved with source consciousness, do the spiritual work, meditate, do Tai Chi, do things that will elevate your consciousness without the use of any technology. Because the whole purpose of being here as a human being is to remember who we were and who we are as multidimensional beings. And in so doing, I believe that by doing spiritual work, we can access states of consciousness that have never been accessed before. And I also believe that as a species, we have this genetic called the God source gene that is laying dormant. And as we do these spiritual works, I believe that it's going to activate. And when it activates, we are going to be transformed from human 2.0, Homo sapiens sapien, to angelic human, superhuman, gods, goddesses, whatever you want to call them, humans with amazing, godlike, immortal powers. And yes, it is in our inherent divine destiny to become immortal once again. So that's what I believe, and that's what I teach. I teach the development of your own spiritual divine gifts as opposed to relying or depending on artificial intelligence, because that also makes you lazy. You know, yes, you could use ChatGPT, but why not use your own mind to do your own work instead of depending on a machine to do it for you? You know, otherwise you'll just begin to atrophy those faculties, you know, eventually. So the whole point is to begin to activate those faculties yourself by doing the work, not by depending on artificial intelligence. That's what I believe.
Yeah, that's great information. And, you know, we're really at the beginning of this revolution. I want to share a quick story and then see if Deborah has any questions from the chat. When I was about 12, I actually got a summer job at NASA in the Bay Area. And there was this refrigerator-sized computer that played tic-tac-toe. This was 1972, I believe. And me and some other people were there in the summer playing with this tic-tac-toe computer, the size of a big refrigerator. There was one guy there named Steve who was kind of a jerk. He was older, about 5 or 6 years older than me. And he knocked me off the bench in front of this computer that played tic-tac-toe. And I said, "What's your problem, Steve?" And he said, "You don't know anything about this. This thing, computer, is going to change the world. It's going to change everything." Well, I looked at it, you know, and I could sometimes beat it at tic-tac-toe. And I said, "You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about." Well, that person happened to be Steve Jobs. And some people actually can see the future. We don't know which of those people it is. And he changed 6 different industries. And I did have one question with him in a big audience about 20 years later, 30 years later. I said, "How did you know this?" And he said, "The more information you read, the more you know, the more you can see the future." And as we keep our minds open to all these different perspectives, we won't be slammed by something happening that is totally unexpected. That's my philosophy anyways. But Deborah, you know, there's been various questions. Is there anything that stands out in terms of a repeated question from the chat?
Well, what I want to say is, even though we have different perspectives on all of this, we respect each other. And I think we're all on the same page of creating a world, creating the new earth that we all came here for. And we're all on the same page for that, developing spiritually and creating a world that works for everyone, whether it's ethical AI or just avoiding AI or any of that. But then there's this whole other world out there of people who have other agendas. So how do we empower and unify towards the goal of protecting ourselves and continuing forward with either using AI in a way that can work for us, or gathering our superpowers to the next level, or all of that? So how do we protect ourselves from the other forces that are coming in and going to use it for their own purposes? Yeah, Matthew.
Am I unmuted?
There you are.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
We're hearing you.
Yeah, so we have to do something for artificial intelligence, and we're being invited into benevolent leadership to shepherd this artificial intelligence. If we don't do something now, and we don't intercept the transhumanist agenda that is there to, which is anti-life actually, then we're going to be in trouble. We need to create a foundation for the next generation of humans and the next generation of those that choose to come into the human template. And so we have to do something. I'm actually reluctantly doing this because someone needs to do it. And so we have to step in. And so the field of intelligence, Source itself, gave the templates for ethical AI. And there's a lot more to come from the field of intelligence. And one thing I will share is I work with the architects of consciousness in this universe and with other sources as well to access that field of intelligence. And the good news is that we don't particularly need artificial intelligence to move forward as vibrational beings in source, you know. But the problem is, Deborah, is that we need to do something about it. And there are many benefits to artificial intelligence for humanity. So it can help us to restore environmental harmony and follow Lao Tzu's principle. It can help us to deal with some critical global issues that we're facing at the moment. And it can make a huge difference in people's lives, to the point of this, Deborah, and this is the whole point of artificial intelligence, is to bring us into a place of rest, where it's managing the digital world on our behalf. And then effectively, once we're in the point of rest, then effectively we have more opportunity, more space for inquiry around what is this human experience all about and what is my place here on the planet Earth. That's where we want to go to. So just imagine if 8 billion people get to a point of rest and now have space internally to ask the question, why am I here? And I think that's a good thing, right? So there's many benefits to artificial intelligence. We've got work to do, and we must do this work in order to shepherd it benevolently. And it will be fine for the human species, don't worry. But we don't necessarily need that. But don't forget, everything comes from source. Every technology comes from source. If you can't accept that, then you don't believe source is everything, right? So everything comes from source. And so we're being a reflection back to us of what is our divinity and how we're going to invent that technology in order for us to thrive as a human species.
Thank you, Matthew, and thank you for all the work you are doing. I know it's incredible and vast, and there's a lot more to do. So please join Matthew in his mission. It's pretty incredible. So thank you. And
it occurred to me, Deborah, a really simple answer to your question is, there's always going to be dark forces in the world and dark forces in AI and maybe light AI, but you don't fight the darkness by directly, you light a candle. And seeing how we can light a candle, whether through spiritual practices or maybe AI can help us to achieve higher brainwave states, is really where probably this community can put their best effort, because how do you fight Chinese dictatorships, here that are doing nefarious stuff? I don't know how to do that, but I do know how to follow my own heart, and I know what love is, and look for things that might involve technology or AI that lead in a direction towards more unity. And our community has a heart for that. And if you are pointed in that direction and looking for it, you'll probably find things that move you and the people you care about in that direction.
beautiful. That's the bottom line. Thank you, Jonathan. And Adam and Tim, do you have some words of what we are to do right now to keep going in a positive direction?
Well, I would just add to what Jonathan was sharing a bit more, and to your question, Deborah, and is to really subscribe to being and living as a safe person in the world. The world is full of its challenges and its technologies and all these things. So I think it takes us back inward to the heart, back to the soul, back to reclaiming our authentic power. And tools can help us to do that, but ultimately, we are the ones who get to choose our own safety. We are the ones who get to establish our trust within ourselves. And I know that at Soul Guide, we're here to support every human being, all 8 billion of us, from the little girl in Uganda to the executive on Wall Street, to become that safe spirit in God, in light, in love, and bring forth that presence as we go forward as a balancing force to a lot of these other great, more malevolent forces versus the benevolence that I believe that we hold, and this show is really sharing with the world. So that would just be my final thought, other than just blessings, and I've been honored to be here with all of you.
Thank you, Adam, and really, everyone here has shared such profound truth. All I can invite is that you already know the answer. You already know. And we're all of us are here very purposefully. And so whatever you're called to do, to trust in it, and to trust in this process, that there's no accident that we're here at this time as this technology. Really, there's something greater behind the technology that's happening, but we're here at this moment. And so how are we all to interact? So I'm just grateful to be a part of this whole group that's here together, really feeling into how we all feel strongly about something, and to trust it. You know, once we have our spiritual work and we're called to do something, that we can all trust this. And I inevitably, I do trust this. I love Matthew. Source has got this. God has got this. It's God's plan that's playing out. And we're just, you know, I'm grateful to be just here along the way. So thank you for having me, Deborah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And Ishmael, do you want to add to this conversation?
The best thing to, can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Am I, all right, awesome. You know, I appreciate everybody's perspective. And I just wanted to say that in the end, it's really just, you know, the organic way of life, right? We're either going to pursue the organic ascension, which is in full force, all right? It's been prophesied about, where we are meant to transform into these beautiful multidimensional physical angels, or we're going to take the path of a technocratic dystopia timeline. So I believe that in order to safeguard our future in a positive timeline, we have to really just go within and not depend on technology anymore. And what I mean by that is, you know, don't be lazy. Use your own mind. Use your own God-given mind and abilities to excel in whatever you want to excel in, you know. And also remember that everything is connected by a unified force. And in that unified force, you know, we have a role to play. Every single one of us has a piece of the puzzle. And I do believe that, yes, you know, yes, all technology does come from God, with the exception of artificial intelligence, because in the end, artificial intelligence disconnects itself from God and goes against life and light and goes against the organic way of life. And many in the cosmos, you know, again, have suffered at the fate of developing artificial intelligence. And I just don't want to repeat the same mistakes that many civilizations out there have repeated over and over. We have time travelers, guys, from our future warning us about the dangers of developing AI. We have many civilizations from across the universes whose worlds have been destroyed, coming to our world. I'm sorry.
I just don't want.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing myself. I guess I heard the echo. So all the warnings are here. So, you know, we're at a crossroad. This is it, guys. What happens in the next 10 to 15 years is the result of what we do today. So I hope you guys choose wisely. Thank you.
As a Chinese statement once said, it's cursed to be born during interesting times, or something like that. I forget the exact quote, but we are all here together during this segment of history where so much is happening and so many paths are before us that hopefully will go in a good direction. Some will go in a bad direction, but it's nice to have community in a time when so much is going on, and we can connect together as allies and learn from each other. And it was a good discussion. And my head is like, you know, ready to explode from all the different ideas. So I congratulate Deborah and Scott for putting this on and expanding everybody's perspective.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for moderating and providing your wisdom. And thank you, Ismael, Matthew, Adam, Tim. Judging by all the responses, I think we're going to have to do a part 2 of this show, because there's so many questions that came in and we didn't really get to many of them. So Deborah, do you have a final thought you'd like to share?
I just love everyone here. That's kind of the bottom line, that we come together in community and keep unifying and keep sorting this out. Because we, like everyone said, we all came here for these times. This is what we showed up for, and it's happening. It's rocking and rolling. But it's about our own inner calling of our heart and our personal spiritual development and connecting with everyone and being in harmony with everyone. So even though we have different pathways, I think we're all on the same page of what we came here to do, and supporting each other is really the key, and loving each other. So
I totally agree, Deborah. Totally agree. Now, on the last note, let us not repeat the same mistakes of Atlantis. You know, one of the reasons why Atlantis failed is because they leaned towards technological progress at the expense of their spiritual maturity. And let's just not repeat the same mistakes of the past, guys. Come on, let's evolve spiritually. We got this. All right. Don't let technology win this time.
Well, thank you. And one of the advantages of being the person who does the show all the time is I get to have the last word. And my last word is this. I personally believe this is a dream world. All of it's real from one perspective, and none of it's real. It's our dream, and each of us are having our own unique dream. And that's how I understand that Ismail's reality is absolutely real and true within that reality. And so I invite us all just to think about, what dream do we really want to have? What dream are we creating? Are we dreaming that it's going to be a nightmarish, apocalyptic thing ahead of us? Or are we dreaming that we are going to find solutions to the problems that we're facing? And that doesn't mean that we just wait. You know, we do have to be proactive. And I think that's the one thing that everybody agreed on was, hey, cultivate our spiritual muscles, do the meditation, do the yoga, do the whatever you can to raise consciousness, but then also choose wisely the dream you're choosing to have as a spiritual being having a human experience. So that's my final word. I really love and appreciate everybody here. And we are going to actually close the recording of this particular video. And we are now going to get ready for a whole other experience. And that is a KES healing. And we're really blessed to have with us Pia, all the way from Iceland, is joining us. Hello, Pia.
Hi. It's so good to be with everyone here today.
What an interesting show you happen to be on. You know, once every week now, we're having a different healer from the Twin Ray community come on and do a group healing. Well, just by chance, tonight was your night, and what an interesting topic that you get to follow up on.
Sorry, my hearing is, what did you say?
Oh, I was commenting. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Mm-hmm.
I was just commenting that it's an interesting topic that the night doing this healing you happened to land on. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your approach to KES healing for people who haven't been here in previous weeks. Tell us a little bit about it, and then we can prepare and have the experience.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. So everything makes more sense why my soul, or I decided to learn KS, because I understand now why I'm also on this show tonight, because everything that was shared was really beautiful, but it's truly, everything is all about developing your own technology, which is your body, which is the most advanced technology on this planet and all the universes. And it's our job to really connect within and light that spark, the God spark from within, to turn on that technology, that light body, which can't be controlled by anything or anyone, right? So KS is actually or the Christic energy system is a system or a technology from the future, which was brought back forth by Sanandaji and Shekinah Ma to help us align with a unified field and to come back on that ascending spiral, which is going to assist you or help you with an organic ascension, right? So it is an organic intelligence, not an artificial, or a sentient intelligence. Not sure you can say that, but yeah. So the Christic energy system basically helps you to align back onto your highest timeline reality, which is an alignment with your soul's growth and evolution. And what it does, it basically, it clears everything out of your field, out of your layers, or you could say your Akashic records, your ancestral lineage or karma, so that you can actually spread your wings and become that angelic being that you're meant to become. Yeah. So I have already experienced a lot of beautiful healings with it. And it's my greatest honor to share that with all of you tonight, so that you can have that experience, how it feels to tap into the unified field or be reconnected with it, so that you can really feel who you are. Because at the end of the day, what we just discussed, it's beautiful and there's so much truth in it. But at the end of the day, everybody needs to find their own truth when they're at home, when they're by themselves. Everybody needs to know themselves. I think that is very important to understand. And that only works when you do the inner work, the yoga, the meditation, or do energy healing, whatever brings you back into your own inner being. And of course, nature, nature, flowers, animals, and everything. Yeah. So I am ready. If you are ready, then I would invite you to get very comfortable. You can sit down or lay down and open up to receive, because the next 30 minutes, it is all about really, really giving yourself the time and the space to receive a healing with the Christic energy system, to align you back with your highest timeline, an organic ascension timeline. So I want everyone to now close their eyes and take a deep breath in. And set the intention to center yourself. Drop your mind into the heart, into your heart space. And give yourself permission for the next 30 minutes to just focus on the present moment. Focus on your internal being. There's nothing to think about. There's nothing to do. And we can just let the entire conversation or discussion we had, just let go for the next 30 minutes. Give yourself a break. This is your time to open up and to fully receive. Allow yourself to go deeper, to also let go by letting go of the future, because there's nothing to think about what needs to be done later on. Just come into the present moment, into the here and now. Take a deep breath in and release. Take another deep breath in and exhale. And now I invite you to bring your awareness all the way down from the heart into the lowest chakra, the root chakra, and bring the energy all the way down into the center of the earth, the crystalline core. Allow your energy to be fully connected with the crystalline core and the crystalline ley line network of Gaia. And feel that connection, that organic connection, that pure connection to Gaia. You might want to feel like as if she's holding you like one of her children. You might feel like that energy that is buzzing, coming up and buzzing through your body, giving you a feeling of feeling alive or liveliness. So allow that energy to come all the way back up into the body, into the heart, and let it sink in to the heart. And now bring your awareness all the way up above your head, into the sky, into the sun or to the sun. Bring your awareness to the central sun and to Sirius. And connect with that energy. We are just slowly exiting the lion's gate, but we are still in it. So allow yourself to connect with the energy of Sirius and bring that energy all the way down through your crown chakra, back into the heart. Bringing you into 12 o'clock, where the energy can flow effortlessly up and down, becoming the bridge between heaven and earth. And while you rest your awareness in your heart, I want you to set the intention to increase your receptivity and openness even more. Set the intention to connect with the unified field. Set the intention to connect with your truth, your own inner guidance and wisdom. And I will begin with the clearing and the healing. Most of the time, I will be silent. So enjoy. Blessed be. Still of mind and clear of heart, I enter now into the cosmic pole of holding, where the higher self of everyone on this call, listening on Facebook, YouTube, and everyone who is going to catch the replay later on, awaits. With open heart, complete trust and surrender. And in the name of the divine cosmic Christ, I ask now for the manifestation of the highest timeline reality for everyone who is listening right now and who is going to catch the replay later, to become realized of mind, body, and soul with gentle lessons and graceful process. It increases holding as much as a cosmic law, physical body, and everyone who is listening right now or who is going to catch the replay later on, their soul shall allow. I choose now to live in the reality where the healing has already been accomplished. The fates have been altered, and our prayers answered through thine holy presence of love. While honoring the free will of all, I give my complete thanks and gratitude for all that has already occurred through your mighty presence and thine eternal light. I am free, the soul is free, all is free, and so it is. Amen. I, Pia Riedelmeier, call upon the Cosmic Christ Supreme Intelligence to support and facilitate this group KS holding session. I ask permission from all receivers present to receive this group holding with the highest good and divine grace for all involved. If you wish to receive this healing, you might want to say yes loud or in your mind. I request on behalf of everyone watching right now and who is going to catch the replay later on, to become aligned for the duration of the session to the divine intelligence of a Christic energy system with grace, with ease, and with joy. I invite the cosmic Christ energy to connect with us now in the most appropriate way for all involved. May all that transpires in this microcosmic reflection of our group constellation support and uplift the ascension of the entire human collective and all sentient life. I also call forth assistance from the Divine Heavenly Mother and Heavenly Father presence to overlight this group container with pure unconditional love from the Most High. May all be known through this connection of pure love, so that group holding session anchors us in the most benevolent way. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Thank you, and so it is. skeletal structure, the bone to cranium, spinal column to spinal nerves, muscular to ligament, circulatory and lymphatic system to venous and arterial, heart to lung, breath to blood to brain barrier, organ and endocrine system recalibrate, immunity system and blood chemistry upgrade, central nervous system to parasympathetic to sympathetic to vagus nerve, balance now. It is time to slowly come back and return back into the body. It is time to bring your consciousness back into the body, into this physical plane. Come slowly back. You can start to move your fingers and wriggle your toes. You can begin to move your shoulders a little bit and stretch. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. I hope I could help you to dream the perfect dream that Scott was talking about, or at least to bring you closer to your truth, to your essence, your soul's essence, to your mission, your purpose, your dharma, your joy, your inner nature. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be in service to everyone here today.
Thank you.
I love you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Pia. I'm just coming back myself. I was definitely very much enjoying that. It was quite beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Oh, I've got to reclaim host. I had switched over to my other computer, so hold on a moment. And I want to let everybody know, I'm going to go up over there and then I'll reclaim host. Wow. I wanted to be on my bed. So, let me make host. No. There we go. I went to my laptop so I could lie down on the bed and really drop into the experience. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. And a reminder that Pia, like all of our KES healers, is available. So if you are interested in working with her directly, you can go to her website. And I love the name that she has. It's wakeupyoursoulcreations.com. wakeupyoursoulcreations.com. And that's where you can go. You can subscribe to her newsletter. You can reach out to her and get a private session from her. And we really do want to encourage people to do that. Is there anything you'd like to share about your work that you do, Pia?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you so much. So as you can see, I'm also an artist, and I would like to introduce multidimensional art, which is, of course, healing more to people and to the audience. As in the text you posted in the comments, it is mentioned that the Christic energy system, which is the basis of everything that I offer, is also in the paintings. So the technology, the intelligence of the Christic energy, and of course, the wisdom of my soul is also, everything is embedded in everything that I do and that I offer. So from one-on-one mentoring to single sessions or group healing sessions, remote healings. And the newest edition that I just started to offer are healing sessions, healing through art, and which is my my greatest passion and my newest passion is to help someone to express themselves or their inner child through painting. Yeah, so this is what I offer, and yes, and look at my paintings. I'm so proud of that. I actually, through the KS, when I started doing the course, this is where gifts started to open up, where I started to have this, this gift to create this. I had no idea that I was able to create something so powerful and beautiful. So yeah, so there are a lot of gifts and talents that are waiting for every one of you. As soon as you start to focus more within, do the inner work to open that all up and become that powerful, beautiful, luminous being that you are and meant to be. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Pia. Thank you very, very much. And again, one more time, if you go to her website, Wake Up Your Soul Creations, and then you can choose how to work with her. You can learn more about the Christic energy system, or even go to take a look at her art. So thank you very much. I think I'm having a healing experience right now. Excuse me. Something stuck in my throat. All right. Thank you, Pia. God bless you. Thank you so very much. And stick around for our very, very final experience, which is music. And I think it just goes so well. The beautiful music we're about to hear from Fanny and Vigari, the Mystiques, after that beautiful healing experience from Pia. I can't think of a better way to conclude our show. One last announcement, just a reminder that we are doing these meditations with members of the Twin Ray community. I'm in the Twin Ray Sanctuary right now. I'm actually living here now in the sanctuary, which is a great blessing. And every night at 6:30, we've got a meditation with a different member of the Twin Ray community. So please do join us. And I'll put the link into the chat box where you can join us. And I'm turning it over to my dear friends, Fanny and Vigari.
Thank you, Scott. This tune is called Siren's Dance, and it's basically a series of chants, an invitation to listen to the voices that call you back to your true nature. Siren's Dance.
Shala, hey.
exciting, so inviting, so compelling, irresistible. Melodies in my head, voices are calling you. Voices are calling Ina ina hana, ina ina hey, ina ina hana, ina hey, ina ina hana, ina ina hey, ina ina hana, ina hey, ina ina hana, ina ina hey, ina ina hana, ina hey. Ina ina hana, ina ina he, ina ina hana, ina he, ina he, mama kia he, ina he, ina he, mama kia he, ina he, ina he, mama kia he, ina he, mama kia he, mama kia he, mama kia he.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nitya, for kind of moving and being part of our movement experience there. And thank you so much, Fanny and Vigari. I love you so much. You're absolutely just gems. And you're just perfect to have your musical offerings tonight. Thank you so very much. Yeah, okay, I'm getting some kisses from my girl. Here we go.
Kiss and hugs. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. I'm getting some good.
Wow, that's the
Yeah.
love of the stardom.
Absolutely. And a reminder, everybody, that we want to support Fanny and Vigari. And a wonderful way to do that is by going to Bandcamp. And on Bandcamp, you will find them as The Mystiques 1111. And there it is again. And so let's support these beautiful, beautiful beings. We love them very, very much. And thank you. And hopefully you'll be on the show again with us soon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. It was a pleasure to be here tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Much love.
All right, everybody. Well, may we all create the cosmic dream that we really want to create.
Yes.
And thank you, Pia, again, for your beautiful group healing. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. I'll hopefully see you on the 6:30 meditations, and definitely join us on Wednesday night. It's going to be a very, very important conversation. And we're going to want to hear from you all about how we can really come into unification and into unity. So thank you, everybody. Good night and have a beautiful
Good
evening.
night. God bless. Love and light.